God led his people Israel out of Egypt. He promised to take the Israelites to a beautiful land of their own if they would obey him and his people. Moses was their leader, and what wonderful things God did for them. He opened up the Red Sea so they could go through on dry land. Their feet didn't even get wet. Then God let the waters return on Pharaoh's army, which was chasing God's people. The waters returned and covered the chariot, the horsemen, and all of Pharaoh's army. None of them remained. When God's people saw the mighty work that God had done, they feared and believed the Lord and God's servant Moses. When the Israelites had traveled 3 more days, they needed water. They came to a fountain, but its water were bitter. So they complained, "What shall we drink?" God made the water sweet for them. God sent manna, the angel's food, for them to eat in the morning. At night, God sent quail for them to eat. Soon they were complaining again. They were thirsty. They were almost ready to stone Moses. God told Moses to hit a certain rock, and the water came out. God stayed with the Israelites and gave them a sign. A cloud was always over them by day, and a pillar of fire by night to show that the presence of God was there. When the armies came to fight them, God helped them to win. He caused the walls of the city of Jericho to fall. God made their clothing last for 40 years. Their shoes didn't even wear out. Even though God loved them and cared for them, they were never happy for long. They would praise God for a short time, then they would start complaining again. They complain about Moses, they complain about the laws of God. Finally, they worshiped idols and forgot God. What a sad story. God punished them for their sins, and many died in the wilderness. Though they were chosen of God and cared for by Him, they were miserable because they murmur and complain all the time. We have in the Bible many examples of Christians who didn't murmur. They were patient and didn't complain, no matter what happened. Job was such a man. We say sometimes a person is as patient as Job because he trusts God and doesn't complain. In the New Testament, we read about Paul, who continually thanked God. Paul was beaten many times. He was taken out of town and left for dead. Paul praised God. Paul was put in jail. Paul thanked God and sang songs. Paul could not see very well. Paul thanked God. When people who were his friends turned against him, Paul thanked God. Paul just stayed happy in the Lord. I've learned to be content no matter what happened to me, Paul said. Paul didn't complain. Paul praised God.